Hello everyone, and welcome to this video where I will be showing you how to configure from scratch an e-ink lighting application with RGB using ETS6. So here we have our two devices. This device is connected to an e-paper display, and we will be using this to control the other device, which will be our RGB actuator. So let's get started. This is ETS6, and we will create a new project. So this will be an empty project. As you can see, if we open up the devices panel, there are currently no devices. So we need to import our two devices. This can be done using this button, and you would import the files provided by Cascoda. In this case, I've already done that, and we have our e-ink lighting file, and we have our KNX color actuator file. So I will go ahead and open up both of those projects. That's the e-ink lighting, and then the color actuator. So now we can copy those devices. So if I just select it, Ctrl C, and then Ctrl V into our new project. So this is the e-ink lighting device. Let's do the same for the color actuator device. Copy, paste. And now we have both of our devices in this new project. So the next thing to do is to create an IoT topology. So to do that, we can navigate over to the panels here, open up a topology panel, and then add area. And then here we need to change the medium to an IoT medium, and that will create an IoT area. Now the next thing to do is to actually enable secure commissioning on the topology backbone. So we go security, we need to set this to on, and then we need to enter a password. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and move over our devices into that IoT area that we've created. So I've just selected both devices, and I'm dragging them into the IoT area. Now we have both of our devices. Let's select a device, and let's activate secure commissioning. I will do that to the other device as well. Now that we've done that, it is time to add the device certificates for the devices. So the way to do that is, if we take our e-ink lighting device, this is the device which has our e-paper display connected to it, so we can simply scan the QR code, which I will show you right now. So if I click on Add Device Certificate, the webcam will open up, and then I can simply scan the QR code. Now you can see that the device has a serial number. Now the other device doesn't have an e-paper display connected to it, so I've already gathered the QR code information prior to filming this, and I will now simply paste it into the field in here. So I'm just pasting this here. Okay, and we can see this also has the serial number now. So the next step is to actually link the functionality of both devices together. So if we, for instance, open up the color actuator, you will notice there are some entries here. And then if we open up the e-ink lighting and we navigate over to group objects, we have here the corresponding functionalities as well. So I will explain each one as I'm linking them. So this one is to turn RGB on and off. So we go ahead and link that to the other device. That creates our link. This next one here is the feedback for the on and off. Next, we have our entry that allows us to set the different RGB values. And then here the feedback for that. And then this allows us to control the dimming. And then here we have the feedback as well. And finally, we have our entry that allows us to control different scenes. So I will drag and drop that here, which will create our final link. So now that we've created all of our links, it is time to download the configuration to our devices. So the way to do this is we select the device, right-click, download, download all. And then on the right-hand side, if we open up the pending operations, you can see the download is taking place, and here we have a pop-up instructing us to press the programming button. So let's go ahead and do that. So in this case, since we are programming the color actuator, which is this device, the way to put it into programming mode is to press this button here. You can see the download is now taking place. And we've successfully downloaded the configuration to that device. So let's do the same for the other device. We are being asked to put the device in programming mode. So here this will be done via the user interface. So let's navigate over to the appropriate page and then set programming mode to true. We can see the configuration is now being downloaded. Alright, so now that the configurations have been downloaded to the devices, we can now start playing with the devices, and we no longer need ETS for this step. So I will now demonstrate what can be done with those devices. So let's navigate over to this page. This page allows you to select a scene. Now we haven't configured any scenes yet, so if I press this button, as you can see, nothing happens because we haven't configured a scene. So let's configure a scene now. So if we go over to the RGB page, let's set this to on. As you can see, we now have some color being displayed. If we go to the next pages, we can control the dimming here. We can also control different colors. So for instance, I will set red to 0. As you can see, the color has changed. So let's actually set our first scene to that exact color. So if I go back to the scene configurations page, here, scene number 1, let's set that. So this has now set scene number 1 to that exact color. So let's now change the color and set scene number 2 to that new color. So if we go back to the RGB, so for instance, let us increase the brightness. Apply. As you can see, the light is now brighter. And let's also completely get rid of the color green. As you can see, the color has now changed again. So let's go ahead and set that second color to our second scene. So if we navigate back to the scene configurations page, let us increment the scene number and set that to our scene number 2. Now let's make sure that all of this works. If we go back to our scene setting page, so as you can see it says scene number 1, so let's set our device to scene number 1, and that's the color that we had previously. Now let's increment the scene. Now if we press on the set button, the color should change to what we configured scene number 2 to be. So let's see. As you can see, the color has changed. So that's it for this demonstration. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.